It wouldn't be the end of a series on Crick Buzz without a few player ratings. Adam Collins and Harsha Bhogle. Let's start with the Indian side. Shikhar Dhawan, the Indian opener.
This time, normally the editor sends me a little note and I go looking at it. He sent it to you this time.
Yeah, well, this time I'm the one that's helped orchestrate who you're going to review, who you're going to get scolded on social media for saying nasty things about.
Okay,
let's see how we go.
Let's go.
Let's start with Shikhar Dhawan, the opener. Didn't have a good series.
No, I like Shikhar Dhawan very much as a person. He's smiling all the time. I like his approach to doing things, but he never got the hang of it. It's another tour that's ended in disappointment for Shikhar Dhawan. I suspect his future's in the white ball than the red ball. No, I mean, I'm normally doing white ball reviews. I'm normally saying 8-8 and now I'm going 3.
Yeah.
3.
KL Rahul was opening partner here at the Oval. He was outstanding. He was out of form, then was he in form at the end?
What an innings. So where was this KL Rahul? There was a guy who looked like him. There's a guy who promised so much. There's a reason we all like KL Rahul. Because there's some players, you just look at them and you say, he can play. And we said that in the first and in the second and in the third and in the fourth. And I think it was his catching that kept him alive, and then he got those runs. So in spite of that absolutely brilliant century, because we're looking at the whole game as a whole, because Rahul is destined for bigger things, 5. 5. No, you don't think so?
No. I think that's fair. I think it's a reasonable.
Okay.
It's a reasonable balanced position.
For the Adam Collins in a tie, yes.
We'll come to that. Ishant Sharma, the attack leader, at different points during this series. Everyone in England, everyone in Australia thinks he's about 35 years old. He's not even 30 yet. Plenty of gas in the tank, to use the Alistair Cook nomenclature from during the week. How did you see him?
I mean, he's played 80 odd test matches. We look at Ishant Sharma and say, this time. And we go, oh no. Okay, maybe next time. And then we come to Ishant Sharma and say, this time. We say, oh no, maybe next time. The Ishant Sharma that turned up here was fantastic. And I think it went down to the time he had with very little on hand. Sometimes you're just playing and you're doing nothing else. You're in a different country. You're just chatting fast bowling to somebody else. And you start to discover yourself, learn a little bit more about yourself. It was a simple thing like bowling fuller. I loved the way Ishant Sharma bowled. The size of the heart has never been a problem. 8.
Could be the peak of his powers at the moment, Ishant Sharma. When India did win a test match, it was in no small part due to Hardik Pandya. He's a player on the improve. Didn't play at the end, but as we saw through the course of the series, plenty to offer.
I saw him bat at 6 and he seemed to get behind the line of the ball and he didn't get the big score. But at Trent Bridge, he got a 50, he picked up 5 wickets, he showed a lot of promise, got left out for the last test match. That's not wrong at all. Sometimes it can actually help you to say, look, I've been left out, I will see to it that it never happens. But he produced a defining spell at Trent Bridge. He had a few performances here and there. I'm actually going to give Hardik Pandya 6.
Yes, 6. Rishabh Pant. And they called him Ishant Pant. Yeah. Rishabh Pant, I've seen him plenty in the IPL the last couple of years. I'm sure you have as well. We were a little bit worried about him after the first innings here at the Oval, and gee whiz, what a way to respond to the critics in the second dig with a maiden century.
I mean, he came here with a batting average of 9.6. You couldn't fault his keeping too much because the ball was doing so much. He was just diving all over the place. But Pant, the batsman, is the one who excites me much more. He came with a batting average under 10. And then this century. I promise you, this is the first of some more that we will see because this kid has shown that he has a special ability. He's not too taken in by the situation. So even though he got that magnificent 100, because I want more from him, Rishabh Pant in my book is 6.
A player for the future. Ajinkya Rahane, the deputy or the vice captain, he battled, but again, he fought really hard towards the end, and I don't think that's for nothing.
He's cut out for much bigger things, I think, Ajinkya Rahane, but he seems unsettled a little bit. I don't know whether it's the fact that he was dropped in South Africa that's made him feel insecure, because most batsmen are at their best when they're secure. Then he's gone through a really rough patch in the home series, got an 80, got a 50. I thought as the series progressed, he looked better and better, but I put Ajinkya Rahane on a different pedestal, and that's why I think Ajinkya Rahane gets a 5 from me.
Last but not least, Virat Kohli, he was India's player of the series, made nearly double the runs of anyone else in the whole series from both sides. Faultless, almost.
Absolutely. I saw him in 2014, and I thought at that point that he could look back and say it was the best thing that happened to his career. He started off with 100, he got another 100, he got 200 runs in the first test, he got 200 runs in the third test. At any given point, there was Virat Kohli, and then there was everybody else. So what do I do for Virat Kohli? What do I do for Virat Kohli? 8.5, 9. 9 out of 10 for Virat Kohli, the batsman. If he had finished in style with 600, 700 runs, maybe all 10. But 9, he was fantastic. I will remember this series for Virat Kohli's batting.
Now his opposite number, Joe Root, battled at different points through the course of the series, but a really important 100 in the context of his career out here yesterday.
Started well, ended well, looked a bit burdened by captaincy. Joe Root, the batsman, is far, far better player than what we saw in the series in the middle 3 games. So I said, started well, ended well, but because he's on a different pedestal, much like we did with Rahul and Pant, I'm giving him 6. What about you?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're doing the easy gig here.
Yeah, I have got the easy gig. I think if I was marking Joe Root, I'd say 5.5.
Oh, the Aussie stuff.
The run-outs. He's losing half a mark from being run out twice in this series. Inexcusable for a captain. Slamming Sammy Curran. We have been...
What do you call him?
Slamming Sammy Curran. We've been thrilled by him. We've loved watching Sam Curran go about his first full Test series. Player of the series, despite being dropped in the middle of it. Not dropped, left out for team balance, but all the same, with ball and with bat. He's 20 years old. He's a match winner. He's so feisty. There's a lot to love, isn't there?
In the first Test, he changed the game with ball, then with bat. Then in the 4th Test, those were the 2 defining Test matches of the series. And he had a big part to play in 1st and 4th. Then you come back to the final Test, he takes the new ball, he nips 2 out. I mean, they say he's going to be a batsman bowler. I hope not, because there are very few good left-arm swing bowlers. Sam Curran, in his debut Test, I thought I'd say 8, but you know what? 8.5.
He was the man of the series after all. He deserves to get that extra half a mark on account of the... You probably decided who the man of the series was, Harsha, did you? Was that your job this time?
Actually, it's interesting. It's the Indian team that decides for the English team and the English team that decides for us. But if you'd asked me, if I was a sole adjudicator, my man of the series was Sam Curran.
It took Moeen Ali 3 Test matches to get back into the England side. A lot of us didn't think he would play, but when he did, he was influential both in Southampton and again here at the Oval. He was man of the match at Southampton. You have to ask yourself, why wasn't he there from the get-go? But
absolutely.
He is the sort of player where, when he's at his best, he's a match winner.
Yeah, he got a few runs as well. I actually believe that Moeen Ali is a very fine spinner. I think it's the arrogance in India, because we think we've seen the best spinners in the world, that's caused us to look down at Moeen Ali. Don't ever do that again. I think he's a quality off spinner. His batting is a bonus. Whether he bats at 3, whether he bats at 7, whether he considers himself the second spinner, nomenclature doesn't count for anything. I'm going 8 for Moeen Ali.
Last but certainly not least, after his heroics at Lords, for his record-breaking antics here at the Oval, old Jimmy Anderson, Harsha.
24 wickets. You know, Jimmy Anderson is, if you don't like the competition in Test cricket, if you just want to see Test cricket like a work of art, like a work of literature, like a poem, then you want to see Jimmy Anderson bowl. I asked Sanjay Manjrekar whether he reminded him of what Richard Hadlee did off the deck. What Jimmy Anderson does in the air, Richard Hadlee did off the deck. He's an interrogator. He asks you questions of every single ball. The ball comes in his hand and suddenly it's speaking a different language. 9.
With 564 wickets, if he plays as long as Richard Hadlee, he might break all the records, Jimmy. He's fit as a fiddle. Let's see. They're the player ratings for Crick Buzz with Adam Collins and Harsha Bogle. Thanks for your company.
Thanks
for your company.